What's up, chat? How's it going? It's been a while, but we are back with Tactical Tuesday. It's I'm fine. I'm in the new digs. I'm in our new recording studio. Also, I don't know what happened to my background music. I think it might be broken. Let me see if I can fix it here. One sec. I think it's live here. I don't know if it's live on my other source. Let me try to fix it. But yeah, we're in the new recording studio. It's set up. We got shit in the background and stuff now. It's a real place that exists in the universe, and we're here, and that's rad. All right, one sec. We do this. We're doing it live, literally. Here we go. All right, nailed it. What's up, everybody? How's it going, folks? I got new microphone. I got new a bunch of shit in the background and stuff. I'm trying to get back to my live screen. Hell yeah. Early morning stream, indeed, folks, indeed. So yeah, welcome back, everyone. It's been a while since we've done one of these things. Basically a whole month since January. I started my moving process. Didn't really have the time to do Monday or the early morning live streams, but now we're resettled. That said, I have my show schedule is getting crazy, so I will commit to Tactical Tuesday's Monday show. I think is a little bit more up in the air because it may be that I will be doing Monday streams, or it may be that I will be doing show stuff on Mondays, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to try to do it next week, but we're a little up in the air. But anyway, folks, we are here today, and this weekend we saw one of the largest events of the season, the Cherokee Open 2025, go down. The results of this event were wild, because if you watch my Best Armies in 40K video yesterday, it was won by Imperial Knights. So I think what I think I would like to do real quick here is take a peek at the matchups that they played. Several of them I know got live streamed on War Games Live, who was there doing live coverage. So if you want to watch those games, I didn't unfortunately have time to watch every single round, but I know a lot of them are available over there. But otherwise, I think it's interesting to talk about the matchups. There's also a bunch of really interesting lists that did fairly well otherwise. The X1 bracket here is crazy. Multiple Space Marines, Genestealer Cults, multiple Tyranids, Chaos Space Marines. So,
Ryan G
like, I'm a level with you folks. The metagame looks insane right now. Absolutely insane. Ryan G, thank you for the super chat. I think he's destroying stuff in the background. Thank you for the super chat. The Aegis defense line. No, it didn't play on my end. What am I doing wrong? I just reset a bunch of my settings, and so I hope that they are not broken. Maybe they are. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, folks. I literally just tested it a second ago, and I don't know why it's not playing. That's okay, though. I appreciate the super chat, though. Yeah, Aegis defense line in Nemo the Fish's list for Bridgehead Strike this week, which was insane as well. So how long has it been since we've seen an Aegis defense line on the table? That's insane. But when you're putting 40, 50 infantry behind it and it gives them all a 4+ vulnerable save, turns out you can kind of see, like, oh, okay, I get it. That's actually pretty obnoxious. Weird part is, though, I guess it is targetable, right? It's because it's just a fortification, so you can just kill it, I guess. There's not really anywhere else to put your anti-tank in that matchup, so I guess maybe the list appreciates it if you expose your anti-tank to infinite numbers of Tempestus Scions shooting at them. Whoa! Midwest Wargaming with the 10 gifted memberships. Holy shit, dude. Hot diggity damn. Thank you so much for that. Oh, I understand why I didn't hear the super chat. I think monitor is set wrong. Sorry, folks. One moment. Something got messed up on my end. I don't know what it is though. All right. Anyway, so congratulations to. Let's read down. Pepcac Central. KR Quintero, Brigadier Burrito, Ramsey McCarthy, Jacob Durant, Alexandra Gaucher, Mr. Dumbledore Swabilius, David and Malagurst. All got gifted memberships from Midwest Wargaming. Thank you so much. Enjoy your early access to videos and stuff. Appreciate that. I want to do more member and patron content, and I was doing a little bit of a I was having a little bit of a think. I think what I want to do is start doing Q&As at the end of the Monday videos, because that's the video series that I do the most regularly, so that's where it makes most sense. So I think I might start doing that. I also want to do some live stream and discussion and like shorter videos that I release more regularly for members. That's neither here nor there, but I think it's interesting to talk about, like, I guess more like relevant stuff, like at the time, you know, do like quick little updates and stuff for members and talk about specific topics. I think would be cool. Would be neat. Dominator 62 with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. How bad will GW knee-jerk Knights? Armature points change just needs to be reversed. I don't think that they will knee-jerk Knights. I will. Okay. Here's the thing.
Dominator 62 donated $5 through Super Chat. So how bad will GW knee-jerk nerf Knights? The Armature points change just needs reversed.
I don't think Knights are the reason that Knights are doing well. And that might sound weird, but I think that the thing that has been basically every time we've seen Imperial Knights recently do well, it's been on the back of Sisters of Battle and from Agents of the Imperium. And I think that was the missing piece of the puzzle that slots in and makes Imperial Knights really good. Because it solves so many problems, right? It gives you a flamer weapon. So you have sort of light infantry sweeping. It's not a ton, right? But you'll kill 5 models every turn, right? Essentially, basically, right? Which is something that Knights don't really want to do, right? Hellfriends aren't great at it. Warglaives aren't great at it. The big Knights are not great at it, right? So it's really inconsistent. So it just gives you this unit that you can just like run out. You can overwatch something, you can shoot a unit, you can kill a utility unit, whatever. Plus it gives you cover ignoring, so it's good at shoring up your weakness against big stuff. Plus it gives you 2 OBSEC units, so you have 2 utility units, so you're increasing your unit volume as well. And you're, you know, it's also objective secured, so you can kind of like leave your back line without having to like leave 130 point Knights back there. I think that the inclusion of Sisters of Battle in Knights lists is transformative to the faction. I don't think, in my opinion, the Knights are too strong. We haven't been seeing them like dominate. I don't know what their win rate is right now. I haven't looked up the stats, but it is a very, you know, it's a select number of players. I think they're well situated in the metagame right now, and it's a piece of technology that like slots perfectly into the faction. I think that's, in my opinion, that feels to me like why Knights are doing well all of a sudden, it feels like, but I don't think that that Knights are going to be like on the chopping block when it comes to the next season update, which we're expecting in a month or so. So you know, we should start thinking about what could get nerfed. There's probably a pass to be made on Eldar. I would imagine like Ultramarines probably take a hit. But I'm not sure about Knights getting clobbered or anything like that. If you know what I'm saying, chat. I think if I was a Knights player, I'd be okay. Bring back Doctrinas for Grasp Attachment for Knights. Oh, for the for this Skitarii stuff. Yeah, for sure. I agree. Did Nemo win because of the Aegis defense line, or because he's a very good player? And also because, like, I don't know, it's not a lot of people fall down to Bridget Strike. I think is part of the thing too. Could you members paint and hang? Yeah, I could. Yeah, so if you like, I have my whole painting desk. It's not set up yet, but it's ready to go. I have a whole hobby sectioned off. This used to be behind my camera in my old setup, but now it's in front of my camera. And I got my cool shit in the back over here. Got my old fucking boxes and stuff. Hell yeah. Look at all that. It's neat. Robo Dorn commanders taking points nerf along with Scions and Mortar teams. Yeah, Mortar teams I wouldn't be so surprised. Scions probably too. I'm interested to see if Robo Dorn commanders are the big are the nuts. You know, we'll see. We'll see, chat. I'm excited. Dominator 62, Imperial Knight player detests you need agency to do well competitively. Yeah, I understand. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Big support from Dominator 62 today. Appreciate that, buddy. I understand that there's like that you don't want to have to, but also I think it's important to understand that especially for factions like Knights that are so contingent on a particular playstyle and a particular unit style, that there are always going to be weaknesses in your range, and that will you know, unless the Knights Codex in the future shifts to including non-vehicle units in the Codex itself, there are always going to be weaknesses in an all-vehicle faction, and that's just like sort of what you have to accept playing Imperial Knights. And I think if you were to somebody to get into Imperial Knights, you know, and without like being cognizant of that, I would be surprised. I think most Knights players are aware of the fact that like they have to make some concessions to the fact that they're playing the Stompy Robot faction and everything is a Stompy Robot. Having a discussion about Quizzers being able to lead kill teams or not. Kill teams that can be led by something that can lead intercessors. Rules as written. They can. He is calling my cell phone, which is on the other side of the room. I hope it's not picking up on the microphone. Rules as written. They can lead kill teams. Yes. There are event rulings that have ruled otherwise, but that is not technically correct. WTC, for example, says that they cannot. That is, there's no basis in the rules for that ruling, but they just decided that they didn't want you to be able to. Rules as written, you can. I rule that you can. There's no like precedent that having a separation between, you know, something that can lead something and that carrying over to other leadership abilities, that's like separates the two things out into separate stuff. So essentially, like, every unit just has a big list of leaders that are allowed to attach in, and Imperial Inquisitors just get appended to everything that's in the Inquisitor or Intercessor list, which is interesting and cool. And to be honest, like, I don't even think it's particularly overpowered or anything. It just is. It like fucks up with your deep strike, I think, too. I guess not for most of them. I guess they get deep strike from Teleportarium, so I guess that doesn't really fuck with deep strike that much. But it is. I don't know. I don't think Deathwatch Inquisitor lists are like blowing up right now, so I don't think it's like a huge deal. It's not a huge balancing thing. I could see it be reversed in a future FAQ. I think that's totally acceptable, but current rules is written, you definitely can do that. Kill teams do not have the battle on keyword logic as they cannot be led. Right, but intercessors can, right? Yeah, I don't know. That's all I gotta have to say about that. There's, yeah, I don't know if I have any other things to put in there. All right, let's talk about some lists, chat. We have discussed many questions and stuff. So let's talk about some Imperial Knights and stuff. So I'm interested to talk about Imperial Knights and the pairings that they were able to go through. So let's run our way all the way down to round 1 of the Cherokee Open. And talk about, Brian Jones, thank you. This is the finals. Hold up. Cherokee Open, what the fuck? All right, BCP. What are you doing to me over here? So first off, win against Eldar. Right off the bat. But fascinating. Okay. I guess it is probably important to discuss the armies that we're talking about. So let's run through Brian Jones's list again real quick here. If you watched my video yesterday, you already seen this. But it's Canis Rex, Mysterious Guardian Atropos, which is probably not that surprising. The Atropos is really good, and Mysterious Guardian is really good on it. We have a limited number of Armigers, only 4 Armigers, 3 Warglaives, and a Helvrin. But then, as I mentioned before, we are putting a ton of stock into Sisters of Battle. So 2 Immolators, a Sister of Battle squad, so we can combat squad it into the 2 Immolators so they don't blow themselves up. Calidus Assassin for scoring, and a Subductor squad. Just a good little objective holder with their fight on death, so it's a little bit difficult for like long range, or sort of like long threat range melee to trade evenly with them. So I imagine that that's actually kind of a big deal in this Eldar matchup, right? Because if we can... I keep clicking on the scorecard and not the list. I'm so bad at this game, chat. If we can get like long threat range units like Howling Banshees into that unit, there is a pretty significant chance that they actually just trade evenly with the Howling Banshees. Or do a bunch of damage to them either way. The other thing too is that when you present the really strong Overwatch threats like the Immolators, you sort of have this assumption that like, my Fire Dragons are going to kill them. But oftentimes, if you have multiple sets of Overwatch threats, you can't protect your whole army from Overwatch. And any one of these units that gets caught by the Immolation Flamers will just like probably die. So you're like, all right, well, I'll make my Fire Dragons immune to Overwatch. They'll push we're way far up the table and they'll blow something up. And then the next unit to pop out, the Howling Banshees are going to go take an objective. They just get vaporized by 18-inch range Flamers. And that makes you sad. Thoughts on the fact that Desolation Marines are seeing a cheeky resurgence? I think that it is not too surprising. We live streamed a game with them. When was that? I think it was a T5S2 game a couple weeks ago. And they just like hung in the back and just like absolutely trucked all game. And it was like being able to run them with Gilliman plus Calgar, right? So you have 1 million CP, so you can Storm of Fire, put them in Devastator Doctrine every turn, and just blast is super strong. I think it's particularly good in Ultramarines. But also, given the fact that we're looking at Astra Militarum and we're looking at Eldar, and both of them are very susceptible to mass blast attacks, I think it's super duper obvious why that unit is seeing a resurgence. Especially too, like we're seeing a resurgence of Green Tide as well. Like Genestealer Cults also, not to the same level, right? But also getting some play. On top of that, it's just there's so many matchups in the metagame right now where having Blast Indirect Fire is super duper strong. Elves are truly glass cannon. Yeah, for sure. Desolation Marine's better in Anvil? I don't think that's true at all. I think that is wrong. You don't get a huge benefit from Anvil Siege because you're indirect fire on 4s anyway, so like you don't really care about having heavy. You don't like have heavy innately except for the missile launcher, which you're mostly never getting the benefit of heavy weapons from anyway. So like, you are you're getting the ignore cover plus 1 AP sort of baked in is a huge deal for that weapon profile, or at least the plus 1 AP. At the very least, the plus 1 AP is enormous. Want to run Desolation Marines in Ironstorm out of an Impulsor for firing down? Impulsor. But they don't get their like remain stationary bonus. That's silly though. I actually kind of like that. I think the AP bonus is like such a big deal though. Because most of the stuff you're shooting at is a 3+ save. Like being able to push the push most stuff to a 4 or a 5+ save means that like you convert so many more of those. All right, let's move on. So round 2 we played against World Eaters. Ranking Karn, Invocatus, Winged Demon Prince. That's kind of cool. Wait, this is Vessels of Wrath. Wait, what? Blessed Juggernaut Lord, no Angron. Big, huge Terminator squad, Exalted 8-bound, Berserkers, and stuff. We got a little bit of shooting in that list as well. Unfortunately, I don't know if the big Terminator squad has what it takes here. It does get the 6+ invulnerable save, but Atropos and Canis both have multi-damage blast weapons. And so these big, huge units, these big, huge heavy infantry units like this just get fucking pulped. So that feels like it's probably not that great. Even if Canis Rex just goes in by himself and just like sweep attacks, he probably picks up half that unit in one go anyway. And I think it's also important that they get the hit to begin with too. Don't think the AP1 and ignore cover is important against the ideal target with just chaff. Yeah, but if you're so they get ignore cover anyway, right? Isn't that that's their rule? Am I crazy? So I guess like realistically it's just the +1 AP, but like when you're talking about units that are the equivalent of like a 2+ save basically, if they are in cover. Like the oh no, yeah, they get ignore cover. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, so you don't necessarily need the ignore cover from the detachment, but being able to push like a 3+ to a 4+ save is like such a big change on the bell curve, right? Plus, you get all of the other effects that you get out of playing Gladius Task Force, right? So, like, suddenly their actual direct fire weapons become like significantly more effective. Like their maneuverability is much greater. Like the rest of your army operates more effectively. Like I don't know. Like somebody go prove me wrong and like win a GT with Anvil Siege Force, and then we'll get to talk about how cool Anvil Siege Force is. But I think that like your army will function. Oops, I clicked on the wrong list. Your army will function more smoothly with Gladius, in my opinion. If you do firing deck, you lose the Desolation ability. What do you? Oh, out of Ironstorm. Yeah. I honestly I don't know. It feels like a meme to me. But like maybe it's good. It's 2 CP, right? To run that. It's 2 CP and you have to hit a damaged unit, right? So you have to you're assuming that you shot it already. I don't know, chat. It feels like a lot of work. I think it's cute, the Iron Storm consideration. I didn't really think about shooting them out of the top of a transport. But I don't know. Maybe if you're shooting the direct fire missile launchers too, and you're getting sustained 5s on those into a vehicle, it's actually probably okay. But I don't know. If you want to kill aspects, you need the AP. Yeah, and I don't want to say that getting sustains and enhanced criticals isn't not good, right? But you're trading an extra point of AP for it. So statistically, it's probably a wash, or close to a wash. And then Gladius Task Force also just stacks on a bunch of additional abilities that you're really, really excited to have. Speaking of Space Marines, we're talking about some Death Watch. What if they ran Desolators? They didn't. This looks like a little bit of Mark Hurdle energy here, right? We have the Storm Speeder, Thunderstrike for the +1 to wound, Infiltrators, Reavers, melee kill team for punching. Yeah, 4 Thunderhammers, Talon Strike kill team, Terminators ×2, Indominator kill team, Indominator kill team, Phobos Lieutenant to hang out with the Reavers. Oh, cute. Yeah, and we can up down those guys, right? We can put them in strategic reserve. They gain Deep Strike for a turn, but then they just have Deep Strike off of the grab shoots or the Reaver unit. So you can up down them, put them hold them in reserve, and then come down later. Although obviously it's less effective to teleport the Reavers than it is the kill teams because you get more use out of the kill teams. But it still gives you the opportunity to jump these guys around if you already have flipped an objective with them. And then we have Tome of the Exoclades on a Captain, Watchmaster with the Spear. Do we have a Rhino for that guy? No. It's interesting. It's interesting that we are putting Tome on the Gravis Captain, but I guess he maybe commits later than the Watchmaster. If the Watchmaster dies early, then it's awkward. BCP is having a little struggling today, champ. Phobos Lieutenant gives them shoot, move, and charge. Yeah, that's the combo. Is you can come out of deep strike, shoot with them, use his like fire and fade to go d6 inches forward and then charge. So it's effectively, it's mathematically almost, but a little different than the 3d6 charge at a deep strike, which is like a 60 or 60%, 65 or something percent conversion rate before rerolls. So if you have a CP open to reroll the charge roll, you're probably up to like 70 or 80% to get that unit in out of deep strike. Plus you have the ability to redeploy them thanks to the detachment with the strat. Next up went into a Stormlance task force. Just Stormlance stuff? Hashtag just Stormlance things? Interesting. I do wonder if this is kind of a nightmare matchup, because I think Canis Rex, I guess kind of appropriately maybe, is like the Lord of all wolves, because he has a blast 4 damage profile, right? So he's firing the high intensity last impulsor. It's enough EP to put basically everything on its invuln save, and every conversion kills an entire Thunderwolf cav. Plus he's like d6 shots. He gets a free, if you haven't used a CP reroll already, he'll just reroll his attack shot, his number of attacks if he needs to. So the chances that he gets 5 or 6 shots here and then sustained ones on critical 5s is like really high. So he's shooting like, call it a 5 on shots, right? +1 for blast, so he's firing 6. He misses 1, gets 2 back for sustains, and then wins on 2s. So he hands you like 6 or 7 saves, and every single conversion kills a Thunderwolf cap. So every time he shoots, he's probably killing 3 to 4 Thunderwolf cavalry. That feels like it's a little scary. And he also has a 2d6 2 damage profile to fight Wolfen with too. Oh, Canis Rex. That's funny. It seems like we hit a bunch of really good profile matchups for Canis Rex over the course of the weekend, I imagine. And it's 2 Thunderwolf Cavalry. We have a little bit of shooting, a Vindicator, and then triple Wolfen. So mostly heavy into the Wolfen. I wonder if the Wolfen are a little inconsistent at knocking down the Armigers, and the Armigers can just take objectives from them too. Because I believe the Wolfen only cap at strength 5, right? And Stormlance has no way to buff them because they're not mounted units. Yeah, their strength. Oh, they're strength 6. Excuse me. No, they're strength 5 on their little claw attack. No, it's just strength 6. Okay, so they do wound on 5, so they probably do knock down an Armiger on the charge. But you can hold them off a little bit with the Sisters of Battle as well. And they don't really want to eat that Overwatch 2 because it wins them on 3s with Truenlight. 65% of the time works every time. That's classic Wolf Gel energy. Wolf Gel was anywhere. Brought Canis to bully the dogs. He made those matchups into auto wins. Oof. Oof, Canis Rex. Skewy. He's a skewy guy, that Canis. It must be nice having allies, you know? You can bring in and fight specific matchups. Just a salty Chaos Demons player over here. Holy shit! Look at this game. He played against Junior Aflahi. Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. A long time. Actually not that long. Like a year and a half. Junior rocking Leagues of Votan. Took down a GT in UK, by the way, this weekend. Did he neat? 06, here we go. I bet he did better than that. I mean, clearly he was undefeated up to round 5, so. 1 point game, though? Holy shit. Brokir Iron Master, double champion, Hearthkin Warrior, triple Sagittor, 6 Thunderkin to hang out with the Iron Master for the +1 to hit. Then Berserks, Hearthguard, Land Fortress, Hurricane Pioneers ×3 Hurricane Jaegers. Yeah, a little bit of a combined arms army. The 6 Brokir Thunderkin's wild. That I imagine that's actually kind of terrifying to the Imperial Knights, because they can just at any point rapid ingress or pop in off a table and just be like, point and click remove. You're dead. Just the downside is low AP, but if they can get themselves in a situation where there's no intervening cover, they'll use like sort of insane damage, because they're firing D6 anti-vehicle 2+ gunshots each. Which is scary. That's interesting. Leagues of Votann are such an interesting army. They feel a little bit like what's a good, I guess, like a kind of Adeptus Mechanicus encoded almost, right? Where they just play this like maneuver and kind of like board control game rather than playing like a straight up fight like you would kind of expect them to. There's a lot of armies like that. Sisters of Battle did that for a while, where you would be like, well, I kind of want to come fight you, but the whole role is that I like absorb table space with 9 Hurricane Pioneers, right? We do a bunch of movement blocking, and then try to lock those in with Sagittors, like dumping a bunch of Hearthkin Warriors that are like annoying to kill into positions, and then we just like try to win from primary off there. Ooh. But I mentioned that's why the score's so close. Super duper spicy game. The Judgment Token mechanic is also particularly toxic to like low model count armies like Imperial Knights too, where suddenly Canis Rex and the Atropos are like on 2 Judgment Tokens for the entire game. I guess they just start with 2 Judgment Tokens anyway, so the whole army's at like actual good stats against them. Most insanely annoying thing about Canis is that he doesn't reliably give up Bring It Down. Yeah, the number of weird corner case like tactical secondary draws that Canis Rex just like blanks is so fucking wild. Because there's a ton, right? You're like, you know, you choose him as a marked for death target every time. And it just he never actually dies. Ran into a Creations of Bile. Bill Nye if he violated the Geneva Convention. That's a good list name. Chaos Lord of Prime Test Subject, Cypher, Fabius Bill, Cultist Mob, Legionaries, Triple Chaos Rhino, Double Destructor, a Chosen Unit, Nemesis Claw. It's actually kind of annoying for Knights too. They have a lot of they can't use like Fight on Deaths, right? They can't use I guess it's not a ton of stuff, but I imagine Trophy Claim maybe once they're engaged. Although I imagine they just punch them as Claw Unit dead at first if they get stuck in, and then double Possessed. Downside of the Possessed, I guess, is that I actually wonder how big the mutation roll was in this game. Because I believe if you don't get +1... Oh no, it doesn't matter if you get +1 strength. The Possessed always moved on 6s here. Ugh, against the T12 Knights. Ugh. In fact, basically nothing in this army reliably wins T12, right? Like, the Chosen are like mass strength 5? Except for a couple models in the unit, because they're all accursed weapons, right? You would kind of expect that this would be the army that's like able to actually kill Imperial Knights, but it feels like it's a bunch of heavy infantry, which we've already determined Canis Rex is really good against. And none of it is high enough strength to actually do anything. Yeah, they have like 1 power fist in the unit. And it's all strength 5. If it was base strength 6 and they could push to strength 7, suddenly we're talking, but everything's strength 5. Yuck! Yucky! And if he doesn't get the correct mutation roll, and if he doesn't roll out +1 strength, then all the T10 stuff is being winded on 6s too. He just has like Chaos Lord's good, right? Oh, I guess Fabius brings the one unit he's attached to up to strength 6.
Ryan
so if
G
he rolls the correct
$5
mutation, right,
through
the
Super
chosen
Chat. Could we look at showcase TC detachments at end of stream and leaked army roster?
If he rolls +1 strength, but if he doesn't roll +1 strength, then everything sucks. Good old Geneva suggestions. Ryan G, thank you for the super chat again. I'm trying to get it to pop up on my end more reliably, and it's not doing it. And it makes me sad, because then I can't react as quickly to when it pops up. I don't know. I don't know what's happening with it, Jim. But yes, we can look at the showcased Emperor Children attachments at the end of the stream. Yes. Yes, we can. I don't know anything about a leaked army roster, though. Oh, maybe I did. I'll look and see if I have the info. Otherwise, I think that it got posted in my members chat. But I don't know. Remember off the top of my head. I know that there is also a table of contents, too, so we can see what's going on. That pushed Brian into Tyranids. Poor Tyranids. R.I.P. Although Tyranids did great this weekend, so I can't. I have to stop talking smack about Tyranids at some point. It's Invasion Fleet, Hive Tyrant, Neurotyrant, Gargoyles, Hormigons, Spyovore, Triple Exocrine, Maleceptor, Double Tyrannifex, Zoanthropes. This feels like. I mean, obviously Tyranids are going to score highly, right? They have the Biovore for scoring. Imperial Knights, I mean, we have the Subductor squad, but you don't necessarily want to like just leave it on the back of your army the entire game. The one thing that Imperial Knights often fail to do is like appropriately screen their backline because their army's so low model count. And so Tyranids just get to like put Spore Mines in your backline and just constantly be scoring maneuver secondaries, which is kind of cute. The downside is that I think a lot of the matchup comes down to like basically whether or not the Tyrannifexes can convert the Rupture Cannon shots. And if they can, you win. And if they can't, you lose. Cool, man. Sick. The Zoanthropes are also super dice dependent too. Like they'll come in if they roll some lethal hits and they get some las cannon shots through, then it's great. And if the Exocrines can just like spam 6s all day, then on the lethal hit gun, then we're doing great. But if you don't get the correct dice, then like Canis Rex just tables your entire army by himself. That's a bit of an awkward matchup. Just weird profiles for Tyranids. That's traditionally been kind of a bad matchup for them. And that was semifinals, so that brought us into finals game at the end here. That was Orcs into Imperial Knights. That one was on stream. I did watch most of it. It looked a little bit like the tank bust is. I think the big Knights went down pretty early, but they didn't really have the sustained hits to keep hitting through the high toughness stuff. So I believe like Canis Rex dropped kind of early, and then the Immolators actually did like kind of insane work on this army. Refuse to believe I'll stop talking smack about it. Genestealers. Man, as somebody who owns 80 Genestealers, it's like 100% rose-tinted glasses, right? Because like, back in my day, old man yells at clouds. Back in my day, Genestealers used to advance 60 inches, and they could kill any infantry unit in the game. And they had AP3 weapons with rending, so +1 AP. No, they were AP4. No, I don't remember. They were AP a billion, and they had a bunch of AP3 weapons, and they rerolled their ones to hit, and they moved to trillion inches, and you could take them units to 20, and they were great. And now they move 8 inches, and they fucking die. And the juxtaposition is so phenomenally insane that I don't know. They just look so tepid compared to every edition of 40k where Genestealers have been the best unit in the Tyranid Codex. They finally decided never again. No more good Genestealers. You only have trash. Only trash Genestealers. So I think a lot of the story for Brian Jones here is that it seems like what we hit was like we hit back-to-back successive sort of multi-wound infantry bricks, right? We hit World Eaters with the Terminator bricks, we hit Stormlands Task Force, we had Creations of Bile. So there was a lot of these matchups where Canis Rex and the Atropos, like these multi-damage blast profiles, could do kind of ridiculous work. And then the stuff that those didn't answer, the reason why I talk about the Immolators so much is that the Immolators do shore up that weakness. So against the lighter units, the 1 and 2 wound light, low toughness infantry, the Immolators can overwatch, then they can fire. So you're shooting over the course of a battle round 4d6. I believe that they're AP2 ignore cover, strength 6 AP2 ignore cover, twin linked. They might be AP1 actually. Yeah. But either way, it's good at kind of AP1, excuse me. It's transcendently good against not twin linked, just 2d6 strength 6 AP1, but your T3s, they're winning on 2s. And out to 18 inches, and they're transcendently good at killing light infantry. So it shores up the weakness of the army, where the army is generally very good at killing heavy infantry and good at fighting vehicles. The downside is that you don't have the infantry sweeping. You bring 2 Immolators, and they give you the opportunity to do that, and I think that's really, really strong. Now, if we want to chat, we can talk about Chris Bingham. If we want to keep talking about Imperial Knights, or we can start talking about some of the other X and 1 lists out of Cherokee Open, but I will leave that up to you. And in the meantime, so if anybody has a direction that they would prefer we go in, let me know down in the chat. But otherwise, we can talk about exactly what Chris Bingham brought. I did talk about this list in addition to Brian Jones's list on my video yesterday. But he was ringing more of an Armiger spam. So Canis Rex, he actually ran 4 Helvrins. And I know that the Helvrins are a little maligned, but I don't think that they necessarily deserve that reputation, because they are, once you start stacking them, and you start stacking the abilities on top of them, so you could give them +1 strength, +1 EP from Squire's Duty, ignore cover from Immolators, and suddenly AP2, ignore cover, and strength 10, and you're shooting a bunch of those, and potentially anti-fly as well. There's a lot of profiles of the game that they just rip apart, and people don't expect it, because I think Armiger Helvrin spent most of the edition being kind of like whatever. They were kind of overshadowed by Warglaves, because the Warglaive, like, Melta 4, AP4, with floating rerolls, everyone's like, that's exciting. But once you stack the buffs on the Helvrins, they're so high volume with 3 damage attacks that they actually start killing vehicles themselves. And so I think that things are coming around now that they have access to ignore cover, to the point where they're actually probably pretty good. We've then got 5 Warglaves, Calidus Assassin, Immolator, there it is, plus a Sister Battle Squad. We want to look at the X and 1s? All right. Okay, chat. Let's look at X and 1s. We have so many X and 1s to talk about. Ben Endraka. We can put my words to the test here and see if I can keep talking smack about Tyranids. Running an invasion fleet. There's actually quite a few Tyranids. Let's talk about all the Tyranids on X and 1 real quick. Ooh. Chat. Double Hive Tyrant. Swarmlord plus a Winged Hive Tyrant. So that's actually kind of interesting, because I wonder what the rest of the list looks like. It's very defensive. And I wonder if we are putting ourselves in a position where we can actually, like, sort of eat charges. It's just so low unit count. Jesus. I guess it's 2 Hive Tyrants and a Norn Emissary, so almost 800 points of your army are wrapped up in 3 models. So here's the thing. Swarmlord has a CP tax aura, right? So you're within 12 inches of him, your stratagems cost an extra. So a lot of times what you want to do with him is you want to put him in like a central position. He's kind of like jockeying out of a mid-board objective, and then you can push him up and get his like melee profile in. Strength 10, twin linked, a bunch of attacks. Like, he's actually pretty good at fighting. The Winged Hive Tyrant also at the start of the fight phase can reduce the attacks characteristic of something by 1 within 12 inches of it, unless it rolls a 1 and then it blows its own head up, which is stupid. But I guess that's why we have adaptive biology. So even if we blow up the Winged Hive Tyrant, he actually just improves his field no pain if he does that. That's cute. So we can wombo combo that together, right? Where it's difficult to buff yourself in melee, and the Winged Hive Tyrant is degrading your profiles at the same time. And then we're stacking that on to these big monsters, right? These big high toughness monsters that we can give field up pains to. So these units can actually, like these three essentially, can actually be very, very reliably survivable on the front line. And then we're using that to body block for our shooting attacks, right? Zoanthropes, Exocrines, Tyrannofexes. I'm so interested in the Zoanthropes because yeah, are they good? It's a 2+. It's a 2+ ballistic scale last cannon shot, and it must be good, right? But it feels like so awkward. I don't know. The math just like feels kind of not really there for me. But the blast attack is actually probably underrated. I think that might be the key. They can get sustained hits against infantry, and you're firing 6d6 or 6d3 plus blast d3 damage gunshots. So even until like 2 wounded infantry, they're actually they sweep pretty hard. Which that's actually probably the primary use case. Really don't like Swarmlord without the Tyrant Guard. I don't like Tyrant Guard. I don't know. So it is. I do think Hive Tyrants are probably too easy to kill for sure. I like this adaptive biology tech on the Winged Hive Tyrant. That's kind of cute. Perfectly adapted on the Neuro Tyrant too, so he gets like say a floating reroll as well. I don't disagree. I think Stormlord's too easy to kill for 240 points, but I think that would probably be mitigated by having a higher speed characteristic. If Swarmlord moved 10 or 12 inches, I think it would be much easier to like actually engage with him, because you could actually leapfrog terrain features pretty well. The downside right now is that he oftentimes has to spend a turn like out in the open, just like doing nothing, unless you're in Crusher Stampede and you can move through walls, which is a little bit weird. Now that Gilliman can move through walls, I think there's maybe a argument to expand the ruin like wall prevention to Hive Tyrants as well. If you could push these units through terrain, the vertical elements of terrain features, I think they would actually be Tyranids would actually be, in my opinion, meaningfully changed to the point where I think they would actually be pretty sweet. To like Swarmlord without a harpies. You're right, chat. That's really what's missing here is the harpy. Swarmlord is small enough to hide without them. Yeah, that's something that people forget about Swarmlord too, is that he's actually tiny. Or the Foot Hive Tyrant model, if you assemble it conservatively, is like the size of a pea, basically. I think mine is like 3.2 inches tall. I have my arms magnetized on mine, so they can huddle down. And as long as he's not doing like a really like wild pose, he's just on over 3 inches tall, which means that in a lot of GW ruins, he actually fits like wholly underneath the first floor. It's actually one of my biggest issues with playing Tyranids on Tabletop Simulator is that the Hive Tyrant models on Tabletop Simulator are actually significantly larger than they are in real life. And that always like threw me for a loop. They used for a while the Dawn of War Swarmlord model, which is like 50% larger than a regular Hive Tyrant, and I was like, this is just wrong. Swarmlord's a little tiny baby. He can hide anywhere. So that is true. The downside is that if you are hiding behind that wall in 10th edition, you can't go through the wall. So like you just get stuck, which is problematic. In 9th edition, it wasn't that big of a deal because like Hive Tyrants are base move 10. I think they were move 9, you could Adrenal Glands them for 10, and they can advance and charge Onslaught. So they were actually so much faster, it didn't really matter. But at 10th edition, they're so fucking slow that it's like impossible to actually commit them the turn you need to. Oftentimes, if your Hive Tyrant isn't committed, the turn where you need it to counterattack on like round 4, if they haven't already like broken cover and moved into the open, they're often out of threat range. It's so stupid. Jared's such a poorly designed codex. Oh, Assimilation Swarm X1. All right, chat. Patrick Martin over here, 7-1. Look at that gorgeous submarine, though. Yummy. This is an example of a man who doesn't give up, and I appreciate that. So I haven't played a GT in a trillion years. But this is the kind of white knuckle dedication that I think is under sold in GT play. Because it's possible to get these good placements, right? Top 8 in a 300-person major after a round 1 loss. And that means it's just a fucking ton of ITC points, right? Your standing points look good, your ELO looks good. And you probably had an easier run of it than a lot of the other people because you lost the first rounds you started in the loser's bracket. And we can see that here, right? Like 65-point loss, and then almost 300-point wins to like get out of that bracket. I don't know. I think I would have trouble rallying after a round 1 loss. But I think in an 8-round event, just fucking sticking in it and buckling down and getting some work done is phenomenally laudable. Look at Pyra results. Is that a team event? This is a team event, right? Pyra like World Invitational or whatever. I think I wrote down the results, but I don't look at team events quite as often. All right. What do we got? Hive Tyrant with Instinctive Defense. This is also a Hive Tyrant plus a Swarm Lord list. Is this a Tyrant card? It is Tyrant card, chat. A Tyrant Guard the truth? Is that what's up? Is that what we're talking about? So Instinctive Defense, so one that's near a Assimilator unit or a Harvester unit, you get 5 burst, which is huge. Awkwardly, the Hive Tyrant has to be the one near the Harvester unit, but that's not too hard if you have enough of them. Especially if like you're trying to like string the Tyrant Guard to do stuff and then lose the Tyrant Guard and then regen them. We also have Swarmlord, Garglers, Biovores, Triple Exocrine, Norn Assimilator, gorgeous. Well, the armor on this list is amazing. Double Psychophage to give our Harvester triggers. A Pyrovore unit, that's interesting. We can sweep infantry a little bit with them, but then they also have Harvester keyword. 2 individual Pyrovores, no Rippers. But I guess we're just using Pyrovores for it because they can go through walls. Plus double Tyrant Guard. Wild. I'm curious to see what the pairings were here. Because this Assimilation feels so matchup dependent to me. If BCP would ever load, holy shit. So he lost to Thousand Suns. All right, well, he lost to Malachi Fowler, who's like a phenomenal player. Thousand Suns, I imagine, also will just fucking kill Tyrant Guard. You're like, oh, what's that? You're like, toughness value is like mostly irrelevant because the entire army is plus 1 to wound and full rerolls or does mortal wounds. And also, you rely entirely on your invulnerable save. Cool. Or on your armor save, excuse me. Like, I guess everything's fucking AP4 now. Here are just 20 Warp Flamers. Enjoy that. See ya! Plus just a really strong player team. Oh my god, BCP! Oh, you're killing me right now! How's everybody doing? We're just hanging out here. He won the mirror match. That's fair. It doesn't feel to me like Tyranids can reliably kill. Oh, Warrior Bioform Onslaught, sick. It definitely doesn't feel like this list can reliably kill Tyrant Guard units. I guess like Exocrines are maybe good at it, but then it gets really awkward because you have to do it in multiple activations, and that's the situation where the Tyrant Guards start to shine. Because you kill like 4 of them and they pull out a line of sight, and then the second Exocrine doesn't get to shoot, and then you just regenerate back. Beat Necron. Cults. Awakened Dynasty. Yeah. The Scoreback Destroyers are scary in that matchup, but like you can kill them once they commit, and then the rest of the army doesn't really do that much damage to you. Assuming he's the 4th place field open strat in the Northern Assimilator every turn, yeah. I mean, there's like very, very few other places it goes, besides the Pyrobors, maybe. What even are defensive stats? Yeah, who knows? We got Emperor's Children leaks today. We didn't get the whole codex though, right? We just got some lists and stuff. We're gonna talk about those later. After we discuss Cherokee Open, we'll do some Emperor's Children talk. It's on the docket. What am I doing? Oh, I just opened up the wrong list again. I'm so bad at this. Blood Angels. Instinctive Defense kind of sucks for these guys. These poor babies. Is this Bloodless Angels? It is? No, it's not. We have a Blood Angels captain. And Dante. Yeah. Yeah, Instinctive Defense is kind of like a windmill slam. I guess the Sanguinary Guard are hard enough to kill if they AOC, that like maybe you don't get them on the first swing, but they also, if you kill a couple of them, they probably don't kill you. Having this like brick of idiots with fight first is like sort of obnoxious. You have to shoot them. You need like long range dedicated anti-tank, and if you have that, then like it's GG. I don't know what the stats look like on... This is Bridgehead, I assume? Yeah. I don't know what the stats look like on Militarum being able to kill the Tyrant Guard. This army feels like it's kind of underpowered. We have, like, Rough Riders in here. Underpowered in that it's taking, like, low-power weapons, right? It's 4 Scion bricks. But, like... They only have individually, they have a limited number of ranged attacks. And then you get to like do weird stuff where they drop 2 Scion bricks on you, and you pull out of rapid fire with the second unit, or like out of Melta range, so like half their weapons stop doing anything because Tyrant Guard are really big. I think it's really awkward, I bet. That's a matchup where you look at those Rogaldorn tank commanders and then you just like cry. Whoa! Look at this fucking result, chat. 96-98. What a game. Holy shit. It's a Cao Yan list. So this is a list that I would expect to be able to kill the entirety of a Tyrant Guard unit in one go. Like, assuming that you can... but I guess the problem is that you have to cede so much table space to them before your Cao Yan becomes active. Because, like, once the Riptide Battlesuits are, like, a guided, sustained to, like, shooting a bunch of, like, high AP, or I would guess, like, reasonable ATP 4 damage gunshots. I guess the Pyrovore, or the Psychophage, makes that conversion really weird into 4 wound Tyrant Guard, so maybe it's okay. But it is like the damage output of this army like skyrockets so hard once you start to get into that position. But it's Railgun Hammerheads. But I guess that's probably why the score is so close, right? The Tau have to cede a lot of table space to Tyranids in the early game because they can't really they can't kill the Norn Assimilator like realistically. Even the railguns, assuming they convert, they are getting 4+ field no pain. So the average from 2 railguns without Cao Yan active is like 12 damage on the assimilator, and then it starts healing. So like it's kind of awkward that you knock down this big Tyranid units early, so they score really high, and then you have to table them round 3 onwards so that you score really high, and the result is that both of you score really high, and it comes down to which secondaries you draw, I guess. There are data sheets and detachments. If somebody has like a leaked codex, fucking message it to me, dude. And then we'll talk. We'll look at it. We'll look at it for sure. Against guard, you go to ground with the Tyrant Guard because Bridgehead doesn't bring Hellhounds. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even consider that. And they have no other way to ignore cover. Fascinating. Huh. I feel like maybe Bridgehead should bring Hellhounds. Has anybody told Bridgehead Strike players about Hellhounds? Those things are really good. Yeah. And like recon sentinels too, right? Like, can we build the bones of like a regular ass Astro Militarum army? Make it better. I keep opening this list again. God damn it, I'm so bad. Tyranid mirror match again. Yeah, I feel like this just doesn't. This is playing like the same game plan, but it just doesn't grind as hard as the Assimilation Tyranids do. Win against Eldar. Ooh, 5-point win. That one's super close. This is an army that I would be a little scared of, right? So like, the awkward part is that the Tyrant Guard units are monster units, right? So like, Swarmlord's unit can present an Overwatch threat, which is nice. But they turn on the Fire Dragon's rerolls. So even if they just shoot a single Tyrant Guard, you could Fire Dragon them down. We have good board control, like striking Scorpions and stuff. Is this Yinian? No, Warhost. And I guess they just don't give you anything to fight either. Double Autarch Wagon. That's cool. Plus, Asserman, like, fucking sucks for a turn, right? Because he's anti-infantry 3 devastating. So he just, like, hands you fucking 18 devastating damage one turn. It's like, here you go, buddy. This is for you. I would like you to have a trillion mortal wounds, please. They can strip cover with a strat. Oh, of course. Yeah, I forgot about the fucking strat. But it requires a unit in line of sight to shoot you first, right? So like the awkward part is that they would need to have something already committed before the Scions go in. Yeah, it's Servo Designator. But I guess that's like what the flamethrower guy, like the flamethrower teams are for. Yeah, so actually, that doesn't seem like. It also gives you a 6+ final pain, or 6+ invulnerable save, I guess, to be fair. But I guess it doesn't seem like the most insane, like, thing. I guess if they only put a single unit into you, like, sure. But that feels like maybe the Bridgehead Strike player has made a mistake. If their goal is to kill an entire Tyrant Guard brick with an attached Hive Tyrant, with literally only like 1 unit of Tempestus Scions, I think that's a bad plan. So a couple, yeah, a couple super tight games, but it looks like we hit 2 Tyranid mirrors, which I think this Assimilation Swarm is good into, and then a couple lists that just couldn't really deal with the beef, and he was able to get himself out of the armies, like the scary armies. Probably was just good play, so I imagine that he's just played the army really well to like outplay his bad matchups. Also an X01 Tyranids. 5 Tyrant, Nero Tyrant is kind of like normal stuff. That's a normal list. Fascinating. All right, let's take a quick peek around these other X and 1 lists, and then we'll take a look at some Emperor's Children chat. So we have some Space Marines from Nick Herding. Blood Angels. It is a Bloodless Angels list, it looks like. So no bespoke Blood Angels units, so we get +1 to wound. called Hypercrypt. Okay. It is Phobos Lieutenant, double captain. One has Rage Shield Warriors, so sustained hits 3. Intercessor Squad, Assault Intercessor Squad times 2, probably for the captains. Another Intercessor Squad, an Impulsor, can carry them around. Jump back Assault Intercessors times 3, Ballistic Dreadnoughts times 2, Infiltrator, Outrider Squads. These guys are really, really good in Liberator because they get the attack and strength bonus on the charge plus their own strength and damage bonus on the charge. So on the charge, they actually do like sort of insane things. They're only AP 1, which is the awkward part for the unit. But otherwise, they're actually it's a high expected damage. 3 Reaver Squads. So we have scouting units that can advance and charge in Liberator for a CP. And then flip objectives and getting the extra attack and strength on sustained hit or on the AP1 knives is a big deal. They don't have the sustained hit knives, but they do get the +1 AP from the data slate bonus. The data slate bonus, I should say. Scout Squad and double Vindicator for shooting. Yeah, it's kind of normal stuff. Chaos Space Marines. Did Creations of Bile things. It sure is a Creations of Bile army. This is the one we looked at, I believe, earlier that played Brian Jones for the who won? Stephen Crowley, who we talked about, who played in the finals, and then Robin Roberts rocking some Genestealer Cults, playing Ascension Host with named all of his characters. So double Benefictus, because they give lethal hits, and then you could use Primed and Ready when your guys coming out of reserve for critical 5s. So we can, they're like chink in the armor Primuses, but they don't give you hit rerolls, but you get more of them, and they have a little laser cannon gun, which is neat. Jackal Alphuses, so we have floating rerolls like hanging around. Also, maybe just to early game with Jackal Squads. A Locust for Lone Operative, Primus, chink in their armor, so lethal hits, and he gives rerolls, kind of standard stuff. Another Primus just for rerolls to get the regular sustained hits. Sanctus, Sanctus is the Lone Operative guy. Locust is attaches with the Primuses and protects them. Auto pistol unit, hand flamer unit, hybrids times 3, I guess 3 times 6 or 3 times 20 plus 1 hand flamer unit. Fascinating. Who are we attaching these guys into, I guess is the question. I guess the hand flamer unit has demo charges. So we could probably attach a Primus into that unit for the demo charge combo. It's not quite as good as it was previously, but it is still strong. And then we have Beneficti and Primuses for the Neophyte Hybrid units to buff them. Ridge Runners, we have a Mining Laser unit and a Mortar unit. Plus, it's 20 Adel and Jackals, okay. So we have a lot of they can scout, like drive by demolition, do mortal wounds, and then reactive move or shoot and scoot sort of forward. So you can play them as like just a ton of board presence, in order to push back forward operators. So you can like move up, demo, move, shoot a like infiltrator unit or scout unit, and then move forward and take their position essentially. So they movement block other screeners from coming out and preventing your deep striking bricks from dropping down and shooting. And then you get optimal turn 2 deep strikes with the big units as well. We also have, it looks like 15 pure strange Genestealers to do that too. So just tons and tons of scouting in this list. Holy shit. Or forward operation, I guess I should say. These guys don't scout. But they do infiltrate, and then they can infiltrate and prevent the stuff from blocking the Jackals, and then the Jackals move forward and just murder everybody. Pretty neat. Good stuff. Nice to see Ascension Host doing things. I think it's the most quintessentially Genestealer Cults, like, detachment, in my opinion. Although, like, Biosanctic Brute Surge melee stuff, I don't know. It always kind of feels like we have, it doesn't feel as ambushy. The Benedicti? Indeed. Been a thick forehead. Alright, so let's take a peek over here at this Emperor's Children stuff. I have been sent it. Is that what's going on right now? Cool. So, all right. Let me put this in a folder. Give me one moment, chat, to make sure I have everything. This isn't the whole codex, right? Where is it? Let's see. Oh, there's also an Imgur with it. We'll just look at the Imgur folder for now. Because I think there's 6 detachments, right? Yeah, so we're missing like a ton. All right. Cool. Let's look. Let's look at what we got. There's more datasheets and detachments on Reddit? Is it more than this folder has? Because this only has like half the datasheets, right? Just unit names? Okay. Yeah, I'll probably do a separate live stream once the codex is like out in its entirety. Maybe later this week. Unless I'm at ATC. Hopefully it all gets leaked tomorrow. That'd be neat. If it gets leaked while I'm at ATC, I'll be mad. All right. Let's start. So, do these have an army ability, by the way? Also, this is duplicated. Let's take a peek at what they have over here. The army rule is Thrill Seekers. All right, cool. We figured it out. You're able to shoot and declare a charge in a turn at which you advanced or fell back. But you cannot target a unit you are engaged with at the start of the turn. You cannot target a unit that was the target of another unit's charge or attack this phase. That sounds very difficult to track. But I guess it's only like... I guess it's only the stuff that advances. That's really cool. That's, Oh, great. This doesn't expand. It's so small on my screen. I'm sorry, chat. I can't make it any bigger. Here we go. So, like, fallback, advance, and charge is, like, such an insane ability, right? But you add riders to it, which is sweet. So you just be like, all right, I need to advance to shoot this unit. And then you just make sure you shoot the advancing units first, and then everyone else can shoot the same target. That's super sweet. That's neat. All right, let's talk about detachments. Carnival of Excess. Warrior within 6 inches, one or more Legion of Excess units, right? Which I imagine are just the keyword for their demons, right? So this is probably the combined detachment. You are empowered while your excess units are within 6 inches of an Emperor's Children unit. They're empowered. While you're empowered, you gain sustained hits 1. If you already have sustained hits 1, you get critical 5s. But that's really good. You get a free heroic intervention for friendly Slaanesh units within 6 inches of the bearer. Are they all Slaanesh units? I guess we can look. The data sheets are down here. Yeah. That's weird that they would like, what in this army isn't a Slaanesh unit? I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. Dark Blessings, once per battle, you can get a 3+ invulnerable save after you get targeted. That's pretty good. Good for like Demon Print. Oh, it's infantry only. Fuck. Alright, well. Go fuck myself, I guess. Possessed Blade. Start of the battle, select one melee weapon equipped by the bearer. You get +1 attack to that weapon. Importantly, it can't be an offhand weapon, because extra attack weapons can't be improved. In addition, each time the bearer is selected to fight, you can use the enhancement. If it does, you get +1 damage. It gains devastating and hazardous. Holy shit. Okay. That's really cool and good. Warp Walker. You auto-advance 6 for the whole unit. You can put it on a Keeper of Secrets. Ooh. And you can advance and charge. Maybe. Actually, we don't know that, because Keeper of Secrets might not have the army rule. Each time a model in the bearer's unit makes a normal advance or fallback move, it can move 3 enemy models. Okay. That's whatever. Yeah, you are kind of flying, maybe. Sustained by agony. So here's the stratagems. You can, after you destroy an enemy unit in the fight phase, recover 3 wounds, or D3 + 3 destroy demonettes. You can... After you destroy an enemy unit in the fight phase... After a Legion of Excess unit destroys an enemy unit, you can target that Legion of Excess unit and 1 friendly Emperor's Children unit within 6 inches. The Emperor's Children unit can declare a charge. If it has not... and then it can fight... it cannot fight again if it's already fought. So you could, like... Do you have to be eligible to charge that turn? So, like, what happens if you... like, advanced and then already resolved an attack against the unit? Like, are they able to charge that unit with the army ability? That... It doesn't say that you have to be eligible to declare a charge, I guess. So maybe you can. That's super bizarre. I guess the problem is that, like, we'll see how scary the Legion of Excess stuff is. Because it could just be that it doesn't do that much damage. Because it is Slaanesh Demon stuff. But what you could do is, like, set up a situation. It's good for, like, stealing objectives from people, I guess, where you can, like, fight a unit, kill another unit with a like nearby demon, and then just like charge with the first unit again to get onto objectives. But you could also set up situations where you like you use like Slaanesh Demons to clear like a screen and then charge into the stuff behind the screen. This feels like it's a really powerful stratagem, but it seems like it's a stratagem that's actually going to be way less useful in practice, but still good. Extra movement's like always amazing. Violent Crescendo gives you 6-inch Pilot Consolidate move, and you do not need to move closer to the closest enemy model, provided the ends move close as possible to the closest enemy unit. Yeah, so it's the same rule that Harlequins have, where they can basically, essentially, as long as you can base the unit that you're going towards, you can base anyone in the unit rather than having to go towards the closest model. It's too bad that Warp Walker doesn't give you the ability to pile and consolidate over enemy models. That'd be neat. Sycophantic Surge. Sorry, your Legion of Excess unit in your charge phase. You're able to declare a charge in which you advance or fall back, provided at least one of the target of the charge is within engagement range of one or more Emperor's Children units. I guess that speaks that maybe... I guess that regardless of whether or not they have the army ability... essentially, you're going to be able to advance and charge with those units, or ignore essentially pay a CTP to ignore the downside of the army ability. Essentially, as long as the Emperor's Children unit's already there. Uncanny Reactions: you must want to be hit in the shooting phase. Dark Apparitions, you can up down Demonettes. And you can go 6 inches away from enemies if you're wholly within 9 inches of a friendly Emperor's Children, and you can charge. Oh, it's 2 CP though. 2 CP. Alright. Well, that's cute. So, what's so funny to me is, like, how far the pendulum has pushed towards stuff like charging out of deep strikes. Whereas previously, like if you remember back to like 8th edition, Games Workshop was was afraid of you even shooting out of deep strike, to the point that they had a bunch of weapons that were specifically 9 inches or less in range, so you couldn't fire them out of reserve. And now we're just like, I don't know, fucking go 6 inches away from your opponent and charge them out of deep strike or whatever. Which I think makes the game more dynamic, which I always like. I think that miniature games are almost always improved by the game in general having greater access to mobility. Because it's like, moving your models around is fun. Your Curial Host is reroll advanced rolls. Okay. What a detachment ability. Fuck. Alright. Get +1 to hit. If you're below half strength, get +1 to wound as well. Emperor's Children infantry are base move 7. That's cool. Steeped in Suffering. Target an enemy below starting strength, get +1 to hit. Below half strength, get +1 to wound. It's solid. Intoxicating Must. You get the Bodyguard rule. That's really good. Tactical, especially because I imagine this is like a majority T4 or T5 army. Tactical Perfection. You get a redeployment. Loathsome Dexterity. You can move through enemy models. What the fuck? They have this. Wait, did they just fucking? Did they just reprint the thing from the other one? I guess it also gives, this one also gives you auto 6 advances. That's so weird. This is just a strictly worse version of the enhancement from the other detachment. Wild. You can gain sustained hits 1 in the fight phase. You can gain -1 to be wounded for 2 CP in the fight phase. Honor the Prince. Auto 6 advance. That's worse than old Honor the Prince, where you could flip a dice to auto 6 after rolling your charge roll. What a fucking time to be alive. Dark Vigor. After every unit ends a normal advance or fallback move, you can make a normal move up to 6. Fucking holy shit. Okay. For 1 CP, a 6-inch reactive move. I guess on non-vehicle. That's wild. Capricious Reaction, -1 to be hit in the shooting phase. Just reprint that too. Okay. Cruel Raiders, up, down. As long as you're 9 inches from the battlefield edge. This detachment actually seems really straightforward. I actually kind of like it. Coterie of the Conceited. Start of the battle round if your warlord's on the battlefield. I really like this detachment ability. I remember I read this one previously. You pledge a number 2 Slanesh representing how many enemy units will be destroyed this battle round. At the end of the battle round, if the number of enemy units destroyed is equal or greater than your pledge, you gain a number of pact points equal to the pledge. Otherwise, you do not gain any pact points this battle round, and your warlord suffers T3 mortal wounds. I love it, chat. This is it is flavor on fucking point, dude. Like, are you kidding me? You literally form a dark pact with Slanesh. It's so good. The answer is almost always like 1 or 2, right? And then you just like slowly accrue as the game continues. But I guess in situations where you like push super hard, it's you could like maybe get 3 points or whatever. If you have 1 pact point, you gain hit rerolls of 1 each time you make an attack. Very good. If you have 3 or more, you get also wound rerolls of 1. If you get 5 or more, your melee weapons have lethal and sustained hits. And if you have 7 or more, you get critical 5-ups. A little Tau energy going on here. As the game goes on, you get stronger and stronger. But this is encouraging you to play really aggressively, because you want to be gaining good pact points as consistently as possible. And if your opponent simply doesn't give you anything to attack, you're not doing that. So your army is like just pretty bad. Pledge of Eternal Servitude is a leadership test at the end of the phase to regenerate your character. Cute. Pledge of Dark Glory is +1 leadership and objective control characteristic to models in his unit. That's fine. Pledge of Mortal Pain. Start of your shooting phase selects an enemy unit within 12 inches and visible. It takes a leadership test at -2 if it's battle shocked. If it's failed, it suffers 3 mortal wounds. Okay. I mean, I guess. Pledge of Unholy Fortune. Once per turn, just after making a hit roll, wound roll, or saving throw. I guess importantly, this doesn't target the unit, so you don't get the downside of the detachment, the army ability. Pledge of Unholy Fortune. Once per turn, just after making a hit roll, wound roll, or saving throw for a model in the bearer's unit. If the bearer is not battle shocked, you can use this enhancement. Once per turn, if you're not battle shocked, you treat the result as an unmodified 6. That's fucking phenomenal, especially if you start getting lethal.
Ryan G donated $2 through Super Chat.
That's really good.
You opened
just
it.
Anyone in the bearer's unit doesn't
smiley
require leadership
face.
too. Strategic stratagems. 1 CP after a mortal wound or attack is allocated to a model in your army. Until the end of the phase, you get a 6+ fatal pain and a 4+ fatal gain against mortal wounds. That's great. It is after an attack is allocated, so it's before your saving throw. But after you see, if they fast rolled their attack, it's after you see how much damage they've done. This is like a Thief of Pain situation where your opponent is incentivized to slow roll out their attacks, but they're not going to do that, so it's actually really good. Unshakable. These are all useful in any turn, by the way. A full green page of stratagems. Unshakable opponents. Till the end of the turn, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, you ignore any modifiers to ballistic scale, weapon skill characteristics, hit roll, or wound roll. Whoa, okay. Let's fucking go. Embrace the pain. Till the end of the phase, each time an enemy model within engagement range of your unit selects targets, it must select your unit as the targets of its attacks. Jesus. Okay. Martial Perfect. These stratagems are nuts, by the way. Martial Perfection. Fight phase, you can reroll hit rolls. Okay. Jeez. Unbound Arrogance. Shooting phase or fight phase after you destroy an enemy unit. Increase your pledge to Slanesh by 1. Oh, that's cute. So you're in a situation where you're like, all right, I've already met my pledge. I've pledged 2. And this is the 3rd unit I'm destroying. I'll pay a CP to increase my pledge to 3. That's neat. That's super neat. And then they have Armor Contempt. Okay. So this detachment's wild because the army ability is really random, right? Because you could just spike low, leave a unit on one model, take D3 mortal wounds, not get any benefit from your detachment ability, lose a bunch of ground essentially, right? But the stratagems are very good. Or I don't even know if I want to say they're very good, but they're very they're sort of rounded to the point where you just have, it's a toolbox. It's a huge toolbox. I don't know if it says this Mercurial Host feels so straightforward that maybe just play that, but I don't know. I like the ability though. You get 2 if you wipe a unit plus a leader. Yes, that counts as 2 units destroyed. As soon as the last model in the bodyguard unit is destroyed, the leader is a separate unit. So if you destroy it, it adds 1 more to the count. It's the anti-MSU detachment unit. Yeah, this one. Oh, I like this one just fucking in general. I think it's man, every time someone's oh, 10th edition just doesn't have the flavor, man. You've heard a million people say this, right? The reason I don't like 10th edition is that it just feels like my army doesn't have any flavor in it. You know, it's just a competitive game, and it doesn't even feel like it's really that true to the lore. Are you reading this? You literally, the game mechanic is that you pledge, like, you make a pledge to Slaanesh. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I think it's so cool that they've like started meshing the game mechanics in with the background. There, man, this makes me sad, but we're in the period of 10th edition where the design team is so keyed in to the mechanics of the edition, right? Because they've spent a year and a half making mechanics for this edition. Probably more than that if we just talk about the development cycle for the Index Hammer. That like you can watch the design team over the lifespan of an edition get better and better and better and better and better at designing for that edition. And we're at this the golden age of the edition where they're fucking cooking, man. And we get cool shit like this. And like as much shit as I throw it for being like bad and dumb, like the scintillating Legion ability, right? Where it's like, you know, you're so locked into the theme of an army that it like is fucking so cool, and it's functional in a game sense too. It might not be competitively viable, but that's not what it's for. Who cares? This army has like 6 detachments. Like it's okay if we make one of them super duper fluffy. And I understand that there's like a downside that there's maybe less creativity in your character construction and stuff like that. But like, man, detachments like this are so fucking cool, dude. But the reason it makes me sad is that it means that we're coming to the end of the life cycle of this edition, and soon we're going to get a new edition, and all this shit's going to get reset. It's going to make me mad, because these are cool. Way more flavor and power than the Dark Angels one? The Dark Angels supplement? You want to tell me that's it's like significantly different than the Dark Angels like Grotsmas detachment, the one where your Ravenwing units like spot for your Deathwing units? Like, come on, dude. They're cooking, man. They're cooking. Is a champion of Rust player never had an issue with flavor? Hell yeah, dude. Just don't open Champions of Fenris. Although they went in the last data slate update, they went a long way to fixing that. I might give that detachment another playthrough at one point. Haven't been through an edition change yet. Do they throw everything out and go back to Index? It's like a coin flip. So usually, just about every other edition they will throw everything out. So it's likely that we'll retain these mechanics through 11th edition. The problem is that what they do is they throw the whole core rulebook out and they rewrite it from the ground up. So it's like a 50-50 chance they'll retain faction rules, but missions, core rules, campaign stuff, all that stuff gets thrown out and reset. The problem is that oftentimes that opens up like, they've constructed very carefully, dozens of detachments, hundreds of data sheets to work very specifically with the current version of the 40k core rules. And every time they reset, they change a bunch of stuff for basically no reason, and they kind of like rebalance how like a lot of mechanics works, which then breaks a lot of the existent stuff from the previous edition. So like we're gonna go through like a 6-month period where everything's broken and stupid, and the game's like in a horrible spot. You broke it not even necessarily from a balance standpoint, but also from like a mechanical standpoint. Like this stratagem doesn't do anything anymore because they changed how hit roll modifiers works, that kind of stuff. So you can look forward to that. Edition changes fucking suck, dude. It's exciting because there's so much new content, but also on the flip side, it's like something's always wrong. Please God, let us not keep the Tyranid army rule. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on what they do. Tyranids are often an early codex because they're like very popular. So I would expect a new Tyranid codex in like 2 years. Oh, the supplement? Yeah, the supplement was early. That's the downside of having early supplements. And this is like it's a blessing and a curse getting getting really late life cycle codexes, because you get cool shit like this where it's like really like intelligently designed. I don't want to say well designed, but it's very intelligently put together. However, you only get it for a couple months usually. Like World Eaters in 9th edition was like the best codex that they wrote. And it had like 3 datasheets in it. It didn't have any content, but they were like, hey guys, we made a codex that's like perfectly designed to play in 9th edition and be really cool. And everyone was like, sick, this is awesome. And they're like, and then in 3 months we're gonna reset the game. And you're like, why? Why? Why did you do this? You gave us the best codex of the edition for like 2 weeks, and then it got re-released. So stupid, dude. Should we talk about this detachment? Is that why they set everyone set it so everyone is on an index? Yeah. So when they reset faction rules, they do indexes. They did that in 8th edition. They didn't do it in 9th edition. 9th edition used all the 8th edition army rules. But they also did it in 10th, obviously. So whenever they reset army stuff, it's they release indexes so that they can reset the whole game all at once, and nobody's like left without army rules or whatever for a period. That always creates like imbalances where sometimes like they come out with new mechanics and new stuff like before, like for a codex, but then all the stuff that's in index doesn't have that. Like in 8th edition, armies didn't have stratagems for a while just because like the indexes didn't have them in there. So if you got a codex, you had stratagems, but if you didn't, you were just like CP rerolling everything. So that's what 10th edition did, where they re-released everything. But I think that they probably I imagine that they kind of like accrue enough core rules changes to justify re-releasing everything to be consistent with those new core rules. But I have a sneaking suspicion that the amount of man hours required to reset the entire game mechanically and rebuild every single unit profile from the ground up is so astronomically huge that they can only justify doing that every 5 to 6 years. Which is why they skip editions with it. So 11th edition will probably be like a core rules update, and a core rules. I don't even want to say update, a core rules rewrite, and like new missions and stuff. But it probably won't be a huge change in how datasheets work. But obviously that's prognosticating. I can't tell that for sure. It'll be weird either way. They released Fate dice in 10th edition. '11th is like more 10.5. Yeah, that's probably how it'll be. Like 9th edition, 8th to 9th edition, like a lot of the core mechanics were there. 9th edition was like such a huge improvement though. It was wild. Hopefully it's a similar level of improvement from 10th to 11th, because I think that the core rules in 10th are at like a side grade from 9th edition. It wasn't necessarily an update. The way that they handle army abilities and list construction and stuff was much better, but yeah, I don't know. Some of the core rules are like really silly. How charges work and how the fight phase works and like how cover and line of sight work is like, all right, a little bit weird. They released Fate dice in 10th edition. 9th edition Eldar had Fate dice, right? Yeah, they had Strands of Fate. It was just different. But it was like, I don't know. In some instances it was more toxic. Because it was always auto 6s. It just depended on what you used them on, right? Anyway, chat. Slaanesh Chosen's the next one. Let's talk about this one. We've talked a lot about how editions move over. We can talk about some friggin' Slaanesh stuff. Detachment ability is a character unit's ignore modifiers to move characteristic, advance, and charge rolls. Okay. Your warlord's unit at the start of the battle is your favorite champion's unit. Each time a character unit from your army destroys an enemy unit, that character becomes a new favorite champion, replacing the old one. Your roll wound rolls with your favorite champion. Downside is that the unit that you already destroyed a unit. Okay. You're like, guys, I'm gonna get wound rerolls. Next turn. Your opponent's like, what if I kill them? Like, well, go fuck myself, I guess. I guess ideally you're supposed to play like combined arms units and they kill a unit in shooting and then they charge. Feels like it's up to your opponent to let you do that though. You can enhancements. You can get +2 move characteristic if you're a favorite champion, but you've already. Is there a strat to become a favorite champion? That would be good, right? Devoted duelist, Imperial children units. You get characters get sustained hits 1. Okay. Beautiful death. You can fight on death. Okay. Fight and jealousy. Character units that are not your favorite champion get +1 strength. That's okay. Diabolic Majesty. I mean, within 6 inches. Mistake Battleshock check. Refusal to be outdone. It can give you +2 to charge. That's really good. Vengeful Surge. After you get shot at, you can surge forward. All right. Yeah, this detachment feels like it's kind of dead on arrival. I don't. All right. Well, we can't all be winners, Chad. We can't all beat the cool Slanesh Pact detachment. I understand the theme of this detachment, but it feels like it's. You need to have. I guess like the idea is that you can favor champion a unit, and then the other units you get good stratagems to use on, so that they can become the favorite champion. But there's no way to be like, once you're the favorite champion, get -1 to be wounded, stratagem or something like that. There's no additional benefit for being the favorite champion. So the chances that you get to actually use the benefits you gain from being a favorite champion is very low. Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird one. Rapid Evisceration. Transport detachments. Each time an Emperor's Children unit from your army makes an attack, you can disembark a transport, get hit, and wound rerolls 1. Sick. Sublime Prescience. Once returning your movement phase, you can use the enhancement. Select a friendly Emperor's Children transport in Strategic Reserve. So you have to not be in a transport yourself because it's an active ability. So if you're in reserve yourself or on the battlefield, you can use it. But if you're in a vehicle, you can't do it. You choose a transport. Setting up the transport on the battlefield and shoot the battle round number is higher than it actually is. That's fucking sick. It is your movement phase all day, so you can't react. You can't rapid ingress in turn 1, but you can like bring on a rhino full of noise marines or something. That's cool. Spearhead Striker. Each time bearer disembarks from a transport, you can reroll charge rolls. And enemy units can't fire Overwatch. Good. Accomplished Tactician. Once per turn in your opponent's shooting phase, after an enemy unit has shot, you can select one friendly Emperor's Children unit within 9 inches of the bearer that was hit. Then select one friendly transport that unit is wholly within 6 inches of and embark within it. So you get a reactive re-embarkation. Not just on the bearer's unit, on someone within 9 inches of them, which is a little cute. It's a little difficult to use, but worst case scenario, you can just use it on your own unit. Heretic Adept. Once per battle round, saving throw has failed for an Emperor's Children vehicle within 6, you can change the name to 0. That's very good. This attachment rules. On to the next. After you destroy an enemy unit, you can re-embark into transport, wholly within 6 inches. Good. Advance and claim. It's any fight phase, by the way, so you can use it on your opponent's turn. Emperor's Children from your unit. Transport from your army that has one or more Tormentor units embarked. Select one objective marker you control, and you OBSEC it. I don't know what a Tormentor is. But we'll look in a moment. Dynamic Breakthrough. You can move through enemy models. Okay. Fucking alright. Why do they're so into moving through enemy models? I don't understand that. It's not that good of an ability. Ceaseless onslaughts, especially for a fucking vehicle. Vehicles like will get stuck. Weird. That's so bizarre. Unit that disembarked from a transport that made a normal move is eligible to charge. Holy shit. Okay. Reactive disembarkation. After a transport bottle, transfer from your army selected as a target of one more when attacking units attacks, you can select one Emperor's Children unit embarked in the transport can disembark. Can set up wholly within 6 inches of that transport, not within engagement range. Oh, that's really good. That's very good. So they like, if they move up to like, you have a Rhino on objective with 5 OC2 guys in it, and they move up to contest the objective. If anyone attacks that Rhino, you can just pay a CP and take the objective back. Or you can use it as like to allow yourself to like if they're about to kill your transport. It works before the transports, before the attacks are resolved. It looks like. It triggers when they're selected as a target, and then the effect looks like immediate. So they attack a transport. It looks like it's gonna die, and you can like place the unit inside the transport behind a train 6 inches away. That's really good. And then end of your opponent's fight phase, you have an up-down for transports wholly within 9 inches of battlefield edges. That one's okay. It's good for like rhinos jumping around to be utility. That's that detachment rules. It's all leaked again? Wait, like the whole codex is leaked? If the whole codex is leaked, hit me up. Hit me with that good codex. Oops, that's my Discord. If the whole thing's out, then we'll do a separate discussion on the whole thing. Looks like this one got duplicated again too. Peerless Bladesman. If you charged, you get lethal or sustained hits. Oh, I have leaked again. Yeah, so this is like 60% of the codex, I think. It's not the whole thing. Once the whole thing comes out, we'll do a separate live stream about it. But we're just ramping up here by talking about Emperor's Children today. We're talking about what we got so far. So far, it seems pretty neat, though. Lethal or sustained hits when you charge. Enhancements, you can heroically intervene for 0. That's fine, but not great. Blinding speed. This is like a 5-point enhancement, maybe. Blinding speed. Once your battle start of the fight phase, a bear can use this enhancement. If it does until the end of the fight phase, models the bear's unit have to fight first. That's very good. Distortion, +1 attacks and damage. Very good. Rise to the challenge once per battle at the end of the fight phase. If the bear is in engagement range of 1 of 3 or more enemy models, it can use this enhancement. The end of the fight phase. If it does, it can fight 1 additional time. That's fine, I guess. It feels kind of unlikely to happen, but the effect is very powerful. Deft Parry can be -1 to be hit in the fight phase. Death Ecstasy, an automatic fight on death for 2 CP. Incessant Violence, you can 6-inch piling consolidate. Cruel Bladesman, +1 AP, that's always good in the fight phase. Terrifying Spectacle. If you destroyed 1 or more enemy units in the previous fight phase, you can use it in your opponent's command phase to force a battle shock check. Or at least the timing on that's pretty good. But that's kind of whatever. Cut down the weak is 2 CP. After an enemy unit falls back, you can charge them. That's very good too. That's a pretty good detachment. Talk about some units. Flawless Blades. They have 3 attack, 2+ weapon skill, strength 6, AP 3, 2 damage. Pretty good melee profile, but only 3 attacks is alright. Each time the unit is selected to fight and call upon its demonic patrons, until the end of the phase, each time you make an attack, an unmodified wound roll of 3 scores a critical wound. At the end of the phase, if you didn't destroy any enemy models, one model in this unit is destroyed. Okay. No enemy models were destroyed? You have 18, 3+ wounding, strength 3, AP 3, 2 damage attacks. You didn't destroy any models. I guess if you like charge a land raider, you don't kill it. It's pretty good though. So they're basically like anti-monster, anti-vehicle, anti-infantry 3. This unit's probably very good. I don't know. That feels like where a lot of your damage is coming from. Although it's only 2 damage is the problem, right? Noise Marines. They still have their good Blastmaster profile. Strength 10, AP 2, 3 damage, ignore cover. They have a pistol profile now. 3 shots. Strength 5, AP 1, and 2 damage. Ignore cover. Sonic Blaster. Strength 5, AP 1, 2 damage, ignore cover. That's pretty good. That's just a super solid ranged attack profile. That's a Space Marine equivalent killer right there. They're T5 also. And also they're units of 6. What is this unit? This is like a totally I guess they're like a Devastator equivalent. That's super weird though. It's very different than Noise Marines have ever been. After the unit is shot, select one enemy unit hit by one or more of the attacks. It takes a battle shock check. Alright, whatever, who cares? The Lord Cacophonist, is that what this is? He can join Terminator squads and Noise Marines. He has 2 Screamer pistols? Oh, he has a Power Sword and a Screamer pistol, which is a good profile. The Power Sword, 6 attack, 25 AP2, 1 damage, pretty good. He gains sustained hits 1 on ranged weapons only. So he's like a Tempestor Prime. And his Doom Siren does a grenade on 3 dice after he shoots an infantry unit. Hopefully this guy's not too expensive, because he's kind of like a weird profile. Sustained hits 1 is good. It's like this ability is sort of whatever. You have to take 2 battle shock tests if he's inside a Noise Marine squad. Oh no, it's a combo. This doesn't force a battle shock check. It gives you -1 to battle shock checks. So if you have a Lord Cacophonist, he then forces the battle shock check. Okay, whatever. New Luscious the Eternal. He can swing with either 6 strength 8, AP 3, 3 damage attacks. Lash of Torment is strength 4, AP 1, 1 damage, 10 attacks each. Does the Flawless Blade give the entire unit 3+ criticals? A model in this unit, yeah. Holy shit, okay. So his 6 strength AP 3, 3 damage attacks can be wounding on everything on 3s as well. If he's inside the Flawless Blade unit, which is the thing he joins. And he rerolls hit and wound rolls against character monster vehicle. He's like Shalaxi Hellbane. And if he's not leading unit at the start of the fight phase, he gets fight first. That's cute. That's very cute. You actually don't need to do that, right? You could just give him fight first on his datasheet and it has the same effect. I don't know. Because I believe fight first only applies if every model in the unit has it. If I remember correctly. But either way, it doesn't make a huge difference. Lucius the Eternal seems fucking sick. This Flawless Blade unit seems pretty phenomenal with him. Holy shit. Hopefully it's not crazy, like, wildly expensive. It's not sustained hits. No. It's critical wounds on 3s. It's not critical hits. So it wounds the whole game on 3s. Which is good, right? Because you can swing into like T5 infantry, and he's winning them on 3s, 10 with 10 attacks if they have like low, if they're like low wounds or whatever. Or you can just swing fucking 8 3 damage. Yeah, I don't know. Like these guys seem like he's just like windmill three and slam 3 of them into the army. Like I don't know. Yeah. Seems good, chat. Man, if they have another attachment for this unit, so if you can have 3 units of these guys that are led, and they're not like wildly expensive. If they're like 35, like 40 points a model, you're like, But if they come in at like, you know, whatever, 27 points or something, like suddenly you're like, okay, I see what's going on. And you just have 3 like 300-point bricks that'll just like one tap whatever once per game and then die. Like that seems pretty solid. Yeah, it's attachment. I don't know. That unit seems really cool. Plus, like they can advance and charge as long as they charge different things, so they're like relatively fast. You can buff them, like all the stratagem, all the detachments usually have good stuff for melee attacks. Like I don't know, give them sustained hits. Like I think it's gonna be sweet. Fulgrim. Let's talk about Fulgrim. So he's moved 16. Holy shit. T11. He's Magnus, I guess. 2+ save, 4+ vulnerable save, 16 wounds, 5+ leadership, OC 6. D6 deadly demise. He has the faction ability. In your shooting phase and the fight phase, after small and breaking its attacks, select one enemy unit hit by one or more of those attacks until the end of the battle. The enemy unit is poisoned. At the start of each player's command phase, in your shooting phase and the fight phase. And he can lash at 12-inch range for 6 strength 8 AP2 2 damage. Yeah, it's just an improved lash of submission. That's cool. At the start of each player's command phase, roll 1d6 for each poisoned enemy unit on the battlefield. On a 4+, that enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. I imagine that he's going to try to kill you, though. So, like, does that matter? I mean, it rolls twice per battle round. So if he doesn't kill you, he's has a chance to do mortal wounds. But it's like a worse ability than like the bloodthirsters, like end of turn mortal wounds or whatever. He's a Demon Primarch of Slaanesh. At the start of your opponent's command phase, select one of the abilities in the Demon Primarch Slaanesh section. So it's a Primarch ability. Horrible stuff. Either -1 to be hit, fight first. And he chooses it at the start of his opponent's command phase? Whoa, what? Wait, that's a cool timing. I love that. That's actually sick. Or an enemy unit is within 6 inches, each time it's selected to fall back, it must take a leadership test. If it's failed, it must remain stationary. Okay. You're probably either -1 to be hit or fight first. Those are 2 very good abilities. You're like, -1 to be hit until you are about to charge me, and then I fight first, so don't come in. He has a Serpentine Tail, so 6 AP1, 1 damage attacks, in addition to his Demonic Blades, which is either 6 strength 14 AP3 D6 +1 or 12 strength 8 AP2 2 damage attacks, all with sustained hits. And we can get critical 5s if we play the sustained hits attachment, right? Very good. Yeah, he doesn't feel like wild. Like his damage output compared to the other demon primarchs is kind of mediocre, which I think is good. But he's super fast and like annoying to attack. He doesn't have a feel no pain, which is a little awkward. It feels like he's gonna die. He's basically the same defensive characteristics as Angron, but he has no feel no pain and he doesn't respawn. You just have to like rely on -1 to hit or fight first to like make your opponent not want to fight you. He doesn't have any. I hope he's not too expensive because he doesn't have any force multiplication effects either. So you're like, I guess you can deep strike him and you play like rapid ingress play. That's what you do with him. He's a deep striker for sure. He's not like Angron or Magnus where you start him on the table and wander him around. I think he's just going to deep strike and do rapid ingress stuff. I don't know what his keywords are, chat. He doesn't have them on his thing. I would imagine that he doesn't have the Legion of Excess keyword. So. Yeah, the poison is like kind of extra. This feels like a lot of text to not really do that much, but at least it works on both players' turns, right? It's like when you underswing and don't kill what you charge, then it gives you the opportunity to maybe kill them the next turn or something, or do extra damage to them. But I don't think there's going to be many situations where Fulgrim's within 12 inches of you and you survive for like a really long time, where you're not just winning the game. I don't know. 350 to 400 points? Yeah, I would hope that he's on the lower end. Like, I would hope that he's like a 300-something point character. Because he, like, his damage output seems really inconsistent. He's just really fast and, like, annoying. But he doesn't seem like he's gonna, like, one tap, like, everything all the time. Especially if you, like, putting defensive strats down. Like, he hits a Land Raider, right? And he's, like, 6 attacks. I convert all 6 because I'm sustained hits if I don't have any bonuses. You AOC, so I'm winning on 3s. I give you 4 saves. You pass 2 of them because you're saving on 4s. So you take, on average, like, 8 damage. Like, it's whatever. So my hope would be he's at, like, 300-ish points. We'll see. Hopefully they don't make him, like, 420 or something, and it's, like, just a fucking mess, and he just sucks. But at like 300, he's this, like, this character that you can be, like, or, like, 280 or something. You can, let's like put him in Deep Strike and then like rapid ingress him and then move 16 and like hit your opponent's backline, start like sweeping their utility units and stuff, and that's I think the point where it seems really good. Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna get whatever he wants to. He's gonna get there. Like, delivery is not the problem. It's the output once he's there. Yeah, he starts with wound rerolls if he's in the Champions detachment. I do have to pop off momentarily here, chat. So I'm gonna start ramping things up. I may be on Twitch in a little bit. I kind of want to play a game, so I might LFG over and get a game in on Twitch. So I might be live over there in a bit here. But otherwise, thanks everybody for coming and hanging out with me. Thanks to everybody who dropped super chats and stuff. And I will see you. You're going to get redirected at the end of this to my 8 TC coverage, which is going to start on Friday. I'm going to head down there on Thursday to Tennessee to stream that. That's going to be an 8-player team event. So I'll see you at the very least there over the weekend, and then I'll probably see you back here next Tuesday. So cheers, everyone. And with that, I'll go ahead and sign out. Have a good one, folks. And if you want the party to continue, go give me a follow over on Twitch, where I think I'm going to try to get a game in. So cheers, everyone. See you there.